Hi guys, welcome to DevOpsSchool. In this video tutorial, we are going to learn about
Ansible is an open source platform or automation tool that is mainly used to accomplish IT tasks such as application development, configuration management, intra-service orchestration, and IT provisioning. There are simple configuration in the form of data description of the infrastructure, which are readable between humans and machines.
But before that, let me ask you a few things. Are you dreaming of a career with higher pay and more responsibilities? Or are you ready to take your skills to the next level this year? Then start investing in DevOpsSchool certification level courses, which will help you to emerge skills for a wide range of entry-level roles and as well as higher potential future positions. But with thousands of courses online and in classroom worldwide, finding the right one for your career goals can be difficult. You can consider our courses like Agile Developer, Agile QA, DevOps Certified Professionals, Site Reliability Engineering, DevSecOps, and Masters in DevOps Engineering, where you will have access to well-structured, easy-to-follow course content that has been developed and will be delivered by industry professionals. You can join on our training programs globally through online platforms, and if you are looking for classroom workshops, then we have regular sessions available in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi NCR, Mumbai, and in Pune. Simply compare our many courses, find the one that suits your style and schedule best, and start today.
Okay, so now let's recap some of the things which we did last day. So we discussed about Ansible roles, Ansible Galaxy, and Ansible Vault. And also we discussed about Ansible Tower. So these are the things which we discussed last day. Now, yes, as part of yesterday's session, we understand what is the roles. Okay, how to understand the skeleton of the role directory structure. Okay, then we have understood for the anatomy of the play, and it can be much more than that task and the wires and many more things, roles. So here we discuss about this, and in detailed way the anatomy is here. So we discuss about the play. Each play we have a host, wires file, tasks, handlers, roles, and many more things actually. So here we use some of these here, and then with this the site.yaml which we developed and we called it, and then work with the Ansible Vault also. We worked with the encryption, decryption, edit, view, encrypt, rekey, and stuff like that. So we did work on this. These are the commands we tried last day. And then we had a project also, and I think many of you have done it well. And after that we have a tower. So this is a tower which we had graphical user interface. We understand that what is the tower, why do we have it. So these are some of the reasonings we discussed about it. Dashboard is missing with Ansible, notification is missing, LDAP is missing, API based request is missing, organization management capability is missing, historical reports is missing, logs records is missing. So many things which is missing actually in the Ansible command line tool, and for that we had a tower. And then we discussed about the architecture of the tower. That was pretty simple. And then we installed it. So installed it, those were nothing but the rule books. I downloaded, I set the password for the database and then site, and then run it those scripts, and then it got installed. After that, once we got access to the tower, we applied the license, and after that we did this workflow. Okay, so yes, we set the authentications like LDAP and all related stuff, created organization, then set the notification. It's not a template, actually set notification settings. Then adding users to the organization, we did it. Team to the organization, we did it. Setting someone as a project admin also, we did it. And then added an inventory, added a credentials here, created a project, create a template which includes everything here. credential, inventory, and project, and run it. You can schedule it also and stuff like that. So we did it. So far, any questions, any doubts which you find? Any questions, any doubts?
No,
Yeah, I
nothing.
have one regarding the other days when we were using the when statement. I noticed that the Ansible variables are not put inside curly braces. So that is because it is a fact, or in that section the variables doesn't have curly braces.
Just a second, let me open up that notes. You're talking about the conditioning, right? When conditioning.
Yeah, conditioning.
Yeah,
correct.
So let's go directly hitting to the URL itself. Tutorial Ansible. And here conde. Here it is. And here this is the when, right? You're asking about this,
Right.
or yeah. So
yeah, I'm asking this for that. Yeah, the point is usually on other places the variables are put inside curly braces, but here it's not used to that. So I just want to know if this is for all the variables or just the fact variables, the item, or
no.
so.
Concept is you can have it any variables which is a variables which is declared by you, or runtime, or fact variables. Any variables you can declare. The logic is, if it is true, then it will work. If the variable is not true, the condition is not true, then it will not do the changes. So here it can have any variables. For example, see, foo is my custom defined variable, whereas is defined is the fixed one. So you can have your own variables also. That's not a problem. So you can say like that, if foo is defined, then only you do this. If not, then don't do that. So like that.
Yeah, my point was on the syntax. If the double curly braces was not needed in this place, and in other cases when you are using the variables, it is needed.
No,
but
no,
okay,
no.
thank you.
Yeah, you look at this here. This problem, this example will help you. Look at this. This is my variables which I declare test1, and here we see when test1 is equal to hello world. So if it is true, then do this, and if it's not true, then don't do this. Make sense?
Okay. Makes sense. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So let's decide the today's topic. So today we are going to have topics which is something like understanding Ansible with Windows. This is one of the topic which I'm going to cover today. Then we are going to also discuss about Ansible module development. Ansible module development. We are going to also explore the options of Ansible plugins and lookups. So these are the things which we're going to check it out. Okay. And related topics. Again, if you have missed out, I'll check and we'll see that which are the topics it can be covered. But these are the major topics which we are going to cover today. So let's start with Ansible with Windows. So I hope you can recall the discussions of the first day. Let's bring this notes again. And here I discuss about the ACS versus ARS somewhere. And here it is. So it's just a time to recollect one more time. Here ACS, we know that it has to be Linux, but here when it comes for Windows, okay, it has to have this one, right? So Windows, it has to have a PowerShell 3.0 and .NET 4.0, and Vnrm should be installed and enabled. By the way, most of the latest Windows operating system, that means 2016 onwards, you have this requirement already in place. So that is the requirements. Apart from that, there's something which else is required. So let me rewrite this whole things. Here, when you want to work with ACS, this is ARS, this has to be Linux, this can be Windows, here has to be Python 2.7, here it has to be .NET 4.x plus PowerShell 3.0 plus Vnrm. Vnrm should be enabled. The communication is of course HTTP. This is the protocol, and here authentication. For that we have a various model which I'll show you that one. Various model for it. Model and authorization also we have various model. Okay. Now here Vnrm should be enabled and listening to that. So that's one thing. Maybe the port number I'm not able to recall right now, but I think it's starting with a 5628 or something like that. I'm still yet to get verified. So during the demo I'll show you. So this is the port number has to be running on the ARS machine. Now one more thing here, because package is being sent from the ACS to ARS and the package is for the Windows, then we have to have a conversions. It has to be Vnrm should be installed here also. So py Vnrm. So basically when we install the Python package, they will convert into the Vnrm package and deliver over the HTTPS. So that is required in ACS also. Be mindful about it. This is okay. So apart from that, more or less it's the same thing architecture wise. Now we need to understand when ACS connect to the ARS, which is in Windows. Now the connection type is Vnrm. So where we need to declare that connection type? Anyone remember that stuff? Anyone remember?
You can put that on the inventory.
Yes, because that's a part of the behavioral parameter. Understand that behavior parameter. Now this is a part of inventory, so please understand this. So that's one thing. So with that, yes, we understand the architecture, we understand the requirements also. So in ACS, Ansible is required anyway, but POI Vnrm has to be installed as well. So can we set up ACS and ARS? So let's do that. So I am going to create two machines, one ACS and one ARS. So here same machines, but yesterday's machines I lost it, so I'm creating one. So let's go for 30 GB, that's sufficient for that. So this is the ACS. Default. Here it is. This is the one machine which I am having ACS, and I will create one more machines which is Windows, because we need a Windows, right? Now which Windows version you guys wants to prefer right now?
Windows 10, is that okay? Or
there's a problem with the
2016?
Windows. Yeah, so there's a problem with the Windows 10. In the Windows 10, I believe I need to check one more time. the home version of Windows 10, you get 2.x PowerShell, so you have to upgrade it. And Vnrm also don't come by default, so you have to install and enable it. By the way, Windows
Okay.
10 is got deprecated, so for the server requirements probably you might not use. So let's go with the Windows 2016, which is still in a not been obsolete. So Windows 10 got obsolete last year only. So still we are using. In fact, I am using Windows 10, but I think for the server requirements that might not be the case. So here I'll go for the 2 CPU, 4 GB RAM, Windows 2016. But we have a 2019 also, by the way. 30 GB that's okay for us. ARS, Windows, and configuring security. Default, and Windows takes around 4 to 5 minutes to boot up, to get loaded, everything to be accessible with. So I'll leave it, just I create and leave it as it is. So now, yes, I got this machine here, all the required machines. I got ARS, which is Windows here, ARS, Windows, and ACS I got, which should be created. It's here, so it's here. So now let's go ahead and log into notepad, putty. I just yes, just improve the view. Okay, now here you have ec2-user, and I'll become a root, and I am going to install the ACS quickly. Now the question is, how do we install the ACS quickly? So I have a notes. In fact, I can use this ACS somewhere. I have copied that commands, and here it is. So let's get started. So this is the ACS. And
Hey Rajesh,
yes, please tell me.
From the text that I sent to the chat, are those the default ports for Ansible, or?
Just a second. Yes, that's correct. 585 for HTTP and 8586 for HTTPS. That's correct. And I'm installing the Ansible. So ACS is done. Now what I need to do, I need to set up ARS. So can we do the ARS? So for setting up the ARS, I have a step-by-step documents which will help us to get this done. It's pretty long document, so we have to have this one, and Windows, and here setting up the remote server, which is here. So let's use this. I am putting up in this note also, and for ACS we have URL, which is this one, because ACS we need some additional components also. So here, so we set it up by ACS. Let me tell you here, the same ACS can be used for the Linux also. There is no problem. Only the inventory change will happen, which I'll show you anyways. And here, this is the ARS. So first, let's talk about the ARS. Okay. So I got the machines here. This is IP address. Now I need to get username and password. So this is the IP address. Connect. I'll share with you this user ID and password. And here, I think I got key, and this is the one. So decrypt. So now can I use this password, and can I use this username here? So I got IP address, I got the username, I got the password. So now can I start setting up? The documents which I need to follow to start setting up is this one. Okay, so now it's pretty simple documents. I'll show you. That's not a very difficult. So here MSRTC, something like this. MSTSC, yeah, MSTSC is a remote desktop connection. So I am going to log in to other box. So here and connect. Let me tell you, I have open up every ports from my side, so there is no problem in terms of access and port issues. This is the username, I am using it, and this is the password which I am using it here, and save it. Yes. Now I got this Windows 2016. This is the machine VM which I'm going to use as part of ARS Windows. Now this setup has to be done. By the way, I'm showing you these each steps, but most of the time you will have some sort of images created with the required setup already in place. So that way it will be easy for us to do the management. Now one thing which I would like to do that here, I would disable the internet security, because this is going to irritate us a lot actually, because lots of setting in 2016 server we have. So I'm going to disable it. So this is not a good practice, but just for the easy demo, I am disabling it. I'll go to the server manager and local server. Here is on, I will off. So that way it will not irritate lots of securities browsing and stuff like that. So that's all. So now can I follow these documents now? So what I will do is I will open up these documents in the same machine, so I don't have to switch the context. Now this is the document. Now I have to set up a, see, this is the control server. Sorry, I'm referring the wrong URL by the way. This is the ARS. So now these are the requirements, you have to read it. In fact, RHEL has a very rich documents. So many things are there. You are free to read that, and it's a good thing. But here, just to make sure that PowerShell, .NET, and Vnrm is installed, running as per the required and supported version. These are the scripts which you have. So let's get started. So first thing what I will do is I will copy all of which to my notepad in the window itself. Here it is. Now I will open up a PowerShell. Okay, always PowerShell. And whenever you use a PowerShell, please make sure that you are using with the admin privileges. Run as an administrator. That is a good thing. And after this, I think these are the PowerShell script. Again, if you go a little bit slow, you can understand this is setting up the environment variable, again setting up all these things, running it, setting up the executions policy, this, that, and all. So many things we do that. Right now we'll not get into the each and every scripts, but rather than run it, because this has been working since ages, so no problem, you won't face problem. So here I set username is my administrator only, so I don't have to change it, but password I do have to change it, because password for this machine is this one. Done. Now just run this command, run this command. All these are PowerShell command, you can read more about it, use cases of it. This is the one. Done. So you see here PowerShell version I have is the same which is required, so no action is required here. So everything is good. So PowerShell is good. Can we set the execution policies also? So here, there's some mismatch actually. Copy is not happening the way I want it faster. Okay, so this is also execution policies. I did it. There's some Vnrm memory fixes, though it's not needed in 2016, but this is needed in 2010 actually. So please be mindful about it. So though I will rerun because all these scripts are safe to run and designed and coded by Microsoft directly, so there's no harm in it. They will not do anything wrong with the operating system. Okay, so this is not required also. So PowerShell 3 is already available. This is a Vnrm setup. So for that, Vnrm is coming by default with 2016, but still if you do that, there's no harm in it, just to make sure that everything is there required before running the Ansible script, and bypass. Done. So now this is also done. Now we have to enable the Vnrm, because if it's not enabled, it's not able to receive the request at the port. So can we enable it? So Vnrm, I am enabling it. This is the command, and you see this is the one which I was telling you. I'm not able to recollect the port number. So 5985 for HTTP, 5986 for HTTPS. This is the default port which is set for the Vnrm, which is running right now. I enabled it through the command line, and everything is set. So right now, apart from this, there's no other things needed. So guys, did you find any difficulties setting up the ARS, Windows ARS?
No.
Okay, after this, yeah, after this WinRM, we have to set up this one. Remember, I need to install some of the things here, py WinRM. So let's get started. So here I will go to this page here. This is a control server page, and now here we have to set up control server. Okay, so this is done actually. ACS has been installed actually. Now we have to decide which these are the components we need to install. So now what is this component? So this basically authentication model, which if you want you can install it. So you either you go for this pip-bay or sudo bay, it's up to you to go for it, and anything is okay because Python is there, pip will work, or yum also will work, so no problem with this. So let's install this through the yum itself. This has to be an ACS, which is here. So I'm installing the ACS in the ACS. Now these are the authentication module, which is, if you need it, if you're using it, then only you are needing. Others it's not needful. Then markup safe, which is help you to convert that markup language very well in Linux. Now XML to dictionary, that's also a good utility to help you to convert that XML to dictionaries. And finally, you can run this. You can run this, but many times in RHEL 7.5 it pops up some error, because RHEL 7.5 I do not have authorized copy, so it required some different libraries which need to be updated, but I don't want to do that. So rather than this, I run this command, and now is done. So now this is done. These are the requirement things, out of which this is the most important one, which I was talking about in the here POI Vnrm in the ACS. So guys, ACS is done. Now so far we see here, if you see here, ACS has been completed, ARS has been completed. Okay, now we need to understand the authentication and authorization. So how do we authenticate and how do we authorize it? And for that we are going to talk about authentication module from ACS to ARS windows. So if you look at this table, I've just copied from the official documents. These are the options which is available, and now you can look at this. I converted into the table, so you see that here, which is the basic means user ID and password. The account has to be local. Okay, Active Directory accounts, is it working with these basics? No. Credential delegation? No. HTTP encryption? No. You can authenticate through the certificates also. You can see that. You can authenticate through the key bros also, NTLM also, Cred SSP also. But for time being, we will use basic, which is a local account, has to be there, which I have the user ID and password, by the way. So here I have a user ID and password, that's a local account. So it's not a part of the LDAP, but LDAP also, if you want, you can get it done through the key bros. Okay, so now if you want the basic authentication should be enabled, then you have to set one more policies, and which is this one. Okay, so this has to be set. This command is a PowerShell command, has to be set in Windows. This is additional if you want the basics to be enabled. So of course I want the password based, so I got into the ARS, copy paste, copy, pasting, done. So guys, everything has been completed. Now what I'm going to do is GitHub, this I'm going to clone in the ACS. So where is the location? So here I'll go for this location. Remember /root git, I think it's not there. And look at this here, git clone. I got this. So here is the source code, I mean whole repository, and inside that, as discuss, go to the Rajesh Kumar, and here I have mkdir Windows. Go to Windows, and here I will create one inventory, vi inventory, and here I'll create one group, Windows, and here I will pass the IP address of ARS. All these things you know that very well. Done. Now inventory is there. Now I have to feed the user ID and password. So how do we feed it? So if you go here, check this document, in the this behavior parameter you have to use in the inventory. So here these are the behavior parameter. So /windows, I'm putting a vars file, and it has to be is equal to, understand that it should not be colon, it's INI file, right? You remember that. And this one. So what is the user local name? User local name. So it's administrator. What is your password? Here it is. What is your connection? It is, and what is the transport method? Basic. So yes, key bros also you can use, NTLM you can use it, certificates you can use it, depends on upon basic. So this copy and here, paste it. Done. So did you find any difficulties, guys? Any difficulties so far?
No.
Okay, there's some problem. I think it might get it. It's equal to sign is here. So I don't want any problem to be there. So what I'm going to do is, probably this will be a better one. Okay, so now that's all. So now after this, I'll tell you few things. Ad hoc commands, Windows ad hoc commands now. Windows ad hoc commands and Windows playbook. Playbook. Two things, because now you need to understand that. So if you want to use the Windows ad hoc commands and Windows playbook, then first thing which should ask me, what is the module for Windows? What is the module for Windows? Okay, so guys, yes, all the module for Windows is a separate one. Can we check it out? Can you check it that out? So here, Ansible Windows module, and here you see, if you want to use for the Windows, you all the modules which is starting with, which is prefixed with Win underscore, is your module. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, so can I ping that machine just for the connection test? I want to test my connection. Can I ping this? So here Ansible -I inventory -module ping. No parameter is required for pinging. Oh, was it a wrong command or good command? Any idea? What should I do?
Inventory.
See a group?
Oh, yes.
All? Yeah, like web.
Yeah. Now what is the problem?
Unreachable.
It says unreachable because of, see, HTTPS by default is a host name is correct. That's correct. Port number is 5986, which we know that's for HTTPS. See here. So what is this?
It doesn't recognize the signer of the dot certificate.
Yeah. It's a usual problem. You might have got hundreds of times. When you have invalid certificates and you try to HTTPS, that this warnings comes actually. So we need to ignore these warnings. Ignore this warning. So how do we do that? So yes, right now certificate is not there, so nothing can be done. In real time, you'll have a certificate. So what to do? So we have to add that to ignore that certificate. So which option we should try? Let me give you a few more options based on the error. So yeah, so option is, I always forget that options. The option is ignore this one. Look at this. So you have to, what I did. So option is this one. So server validation, certificate validation, just ignore it. So same thing I have to do in the inventory. VI done, saved it. Now here what is this? Can you help me? See here, module stdr. There's error. These are the error. Any idea?
Basically, it says that it's missing an argument for a zip file, but I don't know why it's calling a zip file.
Yeah, that's a wonder thing. See here, look at this. Actually, Python is
Okay,
not.
so you need to point it to the Python that is installed on the Windows VM?
Nope. You have answer here somewhere. Ping. I said very clearly, right? Remember, any Windows module start with Win. That was a Linux module I was trying to run in the Windows. See here, look at this, all the modules. Please remember this. So that way, any any Windows module, you start with Win. So the Linux module I was using it so far. So here, can I clear the screen? And this time, can I try alternative Linux module? Win underscore. And now, pong. So connections has happened, authentication has happened. Now you are ready to use any modules anyways. Got my points, guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the thing. Now I think Ansible ad hoc commands you know very well, and playbook also you need to very well. So what I want from you, there's a one assignment for this, and there is a one check for this. Check, we will do that now itself. Assignments I'll give you after 10 minutes. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm a lazy person, so I will not do through Ansible. I will do through manually. What I want to go to C drive. Here I want to create one directory which is called SZ. Okay. Inside that I want to have one directory my named with my first name Rajesh. Inside that I want to write file which is called readme.txt, and inside that I want to have a content welcome to Ansible class. I did it manually, but you can't do manually. What you have to do, check is like this. Don't use playbook right now, use ad hoc program. Check is create using ad hoc command, create a directory here ASZ, and then your first name. That means I should see 18 directories over there. That's one thing. You don't have to log in because I am sharing my screen with you guys, so you can see my screen. Because in Windows we have a problem, we cannot log in RDP multiple people together. So create a directory. Now create a file into this directory. Now you know your first name, so you'll be having the file name is readme.txt, and the content of the file, whatever you like, I'll leave it up to you. Content of a file, You decide. Now this we will get it done in 10 minutes. So guys, you have to log into ACS, which is here. You have to go to the directory called here, okay, and understand that cd, not this is my directory, you have to go to my your directory. You will go to your directory, cd your name, and you can copy or you can create inventory file as it is if you want it, because ARS machines you have, all this you have, everything you have in the notepad, and you will create a directory, you will create a file, you will create a content in the file, but using ad hoc commands. So did you understand that what is my check things?
Yes.
Yep.
So
Clear.
please, let's get started. I'm giving you 10 minutes for this, and I would like to see all of your directory and content here. But where to find out all the information, I think you can get it from the notes also. So I'm updating the notes in a 2-second. GitHub and training notes. Next go. Day 5, I think we have a day 5. Day 5. And guys, go ahead, because I set it up for you, server for you. You have to run the command for me. Let's get started. So I would like to see all of your names, files, and content. You can see my screen. For those who has completed assignment, I can tell you. So guys, please do not log into the server, because that way you will not be able to, I will not be able to see that. So you have to do it without login to that, because I will tell you whether you are doing it or not. Okay. So I'm just trying to log in one more time, because someone logged into the machine. I lost the connection. So far I have not got it, anyone. But I see that someone has created a files in or deleted it actually.
Rajesh, can you refresh that window to see if the folder got created? Thanks.
Sorry, I was not I was on mute. So I said it's not required to refresh, automatically it refresh. So I see that I got a one George G and there's no content. So is that you?
No, that's me.
Okay.
Just the first step. Give me a second.
Yeah. So if I look at the module file has certain parameters which we give. Basically, it's kind of request arguments, parameters. You pass some parameters and it receives some parameters. So first thing is receive. Module is a kind of functionality which receive the parameter in form of this way. Okay, so if you provide the wrong parameter, then it will not accept, it will show you an error. Simple. So first of all, you have to have a right parameter. So you have to set that parameter which you want to pass it. Now if you look at this, parameter also has a type. If you look at this here, parameter has a type. For example, access time is having the parameter string type. Here if you see, it's a boolean type. Like that, it has a type. So parameter also has a type. And then here you have some value which is set a default, and sometimes you do not have a value. So here it is a value, sometimes default set, yes, no, whatever it is. So it's set. Also there's a requirement which is called required. So when you develop a module, you need to understand that you need to accept the parameters. The some parameters are string type, boolean type, this, that, and all. Some type will have options, sometimes some values will be default if it is not passed, and values, if values will be default, some of them will be required. Without that you cannot use, so some parameter will be required. So like that, this is the kind of scenarios. Now let's understand this. So how can you write a module? I mean, which programming language you can use it? So basically any programming language you can write a module. Yes, that's true. It's not only Python and PowerShell. In Windows also you can run a Python. That's not a problem. Ruby, C, C++, Shell, any programming language you can use it. But when you use a programming language, any programming language, that runtime environment should be there in the ARS. That is important. Okay, so yes, you can use that any modules, and then they support those kind of programming whichever you have written. So yes, the only requirement to developing a module is languages need to be able to implement file input and output. That is first one. And the language need to be able to write a JSON formatted output to std out. So I hope you remember, whenever you run any playbook or commands, ad hoc commands, you get the output, and that output is in JSON format. So that is the expected things. So yes, if you have a file input and output operations, and then if you're able to produce the output in JSON format, you can use that programming language. And nowadays every programming language will support all this stuff. But we use Python. Why is that so? The Python we use it because to avoid the complexity, and because Ansible itself is written in Python. So if you use the Python, that will be more simpler way to get the functionality done. So that way you'll be, you don't have to write different languages, because Python is one of the fastest growing language in the DevOps domain, in AI, in hardware, in machine learning also. So many places, and it has a very good support also, good community also, lots of things you can find in the Google also. So it's a very popular one. Again, beside the Python, which is the next second most language which has been used to develop a module, shell scripting, bash scripting, which is the Linux again. So Python will work in the Windows as well as Linux, but shell scripting will work in the only Linux. Again, now if you want to write a module, again you can write in the PowerShell also. That is possible. So PowerShell is a part of the Windows. Okay, so look at this here. The next question is, when you write a module, that's okay, you write a module, it is in a Python program or any program, where to store it? That is the question, where to store it. So system locations I have shown you first day itself. The place, if you remember, if you do Ansible -- version, it will take you to some system location of modules. Yes, you can store it over there also, but that's not your location. That's not your location. You should store it somewhere where you control that area. So for example, you control the roles, correct? Or the playbook place where you store the playbook, so that you control. So usually you can keep it the module, that system location also, but you should practice to keep the module programs in a place where you have playbook. Playbook means site.yaml or any playbook, whatever you have it. You have used it, so I'm not going to talk about it. So now, yes, you can put it up now, but which directory? So the directory should be library. Yes. So whenever you see library directory in any roles or any place where you have a playbook, think about it. It's a custom module they are using it. Okay. So library directory, you should store your modules code, or Ansible automatically read that code during the runtime. There are alternatives, other ways also. You can store it any places also. If you set the environment variable and Ansible _ library, that is also option is there. Again, if you have a module at certain location and you want to call it during the only runtime, not in a general scenarios, but only at during runtime at a special scenario, so you can pass the command line option which is called --module -path also. Okay, so yes, there are so many locations which you have. Which are the locations which you want to use? You can decide. My preferred location is library directory. It's easy for me to understand the whole programs in one go, but else I have a problem with the forgetting the things, so I keep it everything at one place. So library is a one of the preferred one if you really want to keep it at everything organized one place. Okay, so first thing we understand this requirement. Second thing we understand that where we should store the code. Okay, so far any doubts, any questions? Is it okay?
Yep.
Yeah, now how to write a code I will not cover in this as part of this topic, because we are is out of scope. Means you have to learn Python programming, you have to learn bash programming, you have to learn shell programming. So those are the, I will let you decide, but I'll talk about the skeleton. So here if you look at this is one of the small programs, is skeleton of module we have. So here you see in this program, in this file image, there is one library directory. Underneath you have a test_module.py file. So I'm talking about this file skeleton. So more or less, if you find any module in Python, written in Python, you will see this skeleton. You see here, there is a function which has been defined, and the function name is main. And you see the line number 15 to that to the last, to the bottom section of the screen, in the black area, you see the we are calling that main method. You're calling the main method. So here 15th line number is calling the main method, where is they being called at the 4 line number 4. Now it is having extension of Ansible module, A capital M capital. So where is that wrapper? So this wrapper is already installed in your Python. So the moment you declare module is equal to Ansible module, that means every certain scenarios which has been set, like you have to accept the parameter, and which is default, not default, type, and required, all this thing automatically is being driven. So those validation sort of code you don't have to write. Again, I'm repeating, you don't have to write a validation sort of code. That has been written in a Ansible module programs. So that is also, you have to just use it as part of that. So you are using Ansible module, which is a part of the system again already. Now you have to specify arguments. Remember, module has a multiple parameter, so argument specification has to be in a dictionary format. Okay, that's the reason argument specification dictionary. And here input is your variable which you are inputting it, and then that has again in dictionary required true or false. So required means the arguments which is required to pass in order to use this module. So required is equal to true means that you are telling this input has to be passed, without that you cannot use this module. Okay, now supports check mode, again false. This is another arguments again. And then finally look at the line number 14, Ansible.modules_utils.basic import everything. So basically Ansible underscore module line number 5, which you see that is being implemented with the line number 14. So this is the way, it's a skeleton, basic skeleton of the module. This is the way you can find it. So you go to the modules directory, you open up any core modules, you'll find the same directory structure. Okay, now if you look at this here, okay, so they are loading this line from the, look at this, loading the line from the location which is called framework Python 2.7 Win Python and all stuff like that. So that's importing the different lines. So basically that line 14 number lines basically imports more than 1600 lines of code to make this happen. So someone has written a framework, you just have to use it to create a model. Now this is the kind of file which you'll have it. You have a lots of readme document sort of things also, you should read it. Now this is the most important slide. Look at it. you have a module, okay, and you want to set the variables, input arguments. That is mandatory. So you will use like this: mandatory underscore var is equal to dict required true. That's all. So whatever you.
Rajesh, you sound kind of far from the microphone.
Oh, sorry. I think that that wire was lying somewhere else.
Yeah, better.
So sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah. So here, you look at this here. If you want to declare the arguments for the module, which is mandatory in nature, so you said required is equal to true. Line number, I think 4, followed by, if you want to declare, if you want to accept the argument for the module, which is mandatory in nature, but it should not be logging. It should not be logging. That means it should not be showing you on the screen, the console. Then you should say required is equal to true and no log is equal to also true. If you want to declare the variable mandatory variable, but with the fixed values like a choices, like a boolean. So in that case, you can try choices is equal to true and false. Here you specify what is the fixed thing. You cannot accept anything else but true and false, like this. If you want the arguments to be taken any values, then you set simple dict and parenthesis and like that, bracket, sorry, not parenthesis, bracket. Now if you want to take any variables and you want to check for existence, again you can do that one also, same way. Again, if you want to declare a variable and which has some default value, then look at the options where you have a optionals underscore var underscore default, that's a variable name, is equal to dict default is equal to val. So that means if you do not specify, this automatically will be taken blar. Like sometimes we have a nothing is sometimes started, sometimes touch, so like that. Now if you want to declare the variable which is which is required true, but the same time you want to have something like a type boolean, so you can declare then the boolean. If you want to have a attributes which is required but you want also to be aliases with, so you can write that line. Okay, now if you see the last two, so check if at least one variable in the list is present. So this is something we are checking. So at least one of each, like you declare so many variables, mandatory var, blah, 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 and so many things. So check that at least if you use this module, at least 2 variable you have to keep it, else it's not right arguments you are passing. So how to declare that one? So that's the last from the bottom second line, optional var2, optional var3. That means you are making sure that var2 and var3 has to be there as part of the any module declarations. It should be required. So that way multiple required if you want to do, you can do that. Here is one of each. It's a one of each you are saying. Mutually exclusive, that means both is required. So you have to tell like that. Mutually exclusive is equal to this way. So now if you see that this is the code you have written. This is the code you have written. But if you write this module and if someone wants to use it in their playbook, how to use it? Look at the below screen. And I think it's very self-explanatory because you have understood now how to write a playbook. So now you understand that test underscore module is the name of the file, which is the name of the the module code has been stored with, and parameter is mandatory variable value, variable value, variable value, and stuff like that. Some of them are required accordingly. So see that here how you copy. So this is all about the argument specification. This is how you pass the argument. But the question is not about the argument only. What can you do in the Python program with this argument pass? That you need to write it, and that is the main code actually. Yes, that is the main code. So guys, this slide is okay for you? This slide is okay for you?
See, it's okay. Yes.
So now what logic, what program you write to use this variable, that is the main programming skill requirement we have in order to write a module. So here, look at this. Again, not too many arguments, only one argument, which is input is equal to dex required true. That means there's one input for this module. That module is called whatever, test module or whatever. So here, what you are going to do here? So here you are setting up the local variable again. What? My underscore local underscore input underscore var is equal to module dot param. So here you are setting up the module parameter from the input. So that means you set the local variable, and based on that you can return value. So here you see the last line, module.exist.json, because the output always has to be in a JSON format. So if you want to access the values which is passed, understand that if you want to access the values which is passed as part of the module in the playbook, then you have to use modules.parent. Then only you can set in the local variable, and after that how to use it is up to you. Okay, now how to display the exit after the processing, because see, every module every program you have, there is input, there is output. Processing is under your control, under your code. So here you did the input, but the last line you see that under the block is exit. So in between your code will be lying actually. Between the if you look at the red block, bigger one, there were two lines. In between my local input var and the module.exit underscore JSON, your exact right code will be written. Okay, so what you want to do with the my underscore local underscore input underscore var, that you have to decide. Then based on that you will exit. Now what you want to exit? So during the exit you have to tell whether this module is changed true, okay, or error also. So this is the exit JSON success message. So here you are displaying nothing but the same module, my underscore local underscore input underscore var or something like that. So this is the way you have to exit. So remember, module dot exit JSON and error message also you have something similar. So now look at this here, little bit. This is the return value. Here you can do the conditioning, return value. Look at this very carefully. Top right block, if successful and changed, return exit JSON. If successful and not changed, then exit JSON, and here you are saying change is equal to false. Up you are saying change is equal to true. These all are the output, and whatever the data you want to return, that you can do that. And if it is not a successful, you can fail that. Fail JSON, you can call the fail JSON, module.fail JSON, and then some message which you want to print. Okay, so if you see that first line, if you get in the scenario of first if condition, then output will be like that. You see the left side, that screen. Then if it is a middle scenario, then output will be in the bottom. If it is the last scenario, you'll be getting the output like this. And you have seen this output a lot from last 4 days, so I don't have to talk about it. So these are the ways in which you take the input, process it, validate it. Wrapper is there, Ansible wrapper code is there. Now process it, and depends on your logic, whatever you want to do, work with it. And this is the way you exit the message. So finally, look at this. This is one of the code, real code. What is exactly happening? Understand the code left side first. This module will check the US Weather Department website. Okay, and website, and they will get the weather, and based on the user inputs you will get a message saying that okay, the weather is too hot or too low or whatever it is, like that. So look at this here, line number 6 to 14. This is the real code, and the code has been written in the get temperature. This logic you have to write. This logic you have to write. Now 17 line number 224, 23, 24, you have a real code which is required input. So what are the required input here? So I see the code line number 20. That's one requirement. 21, there is no requirement, but the city, if you do not provide, it will become a Munich D, Germany. Now 22 line number, it says it's required, and the but type is a float. That means it's like a 2.3, something like that it will come. Threshold. So there's a 3 variables. That means the module should have a 3 variables: app key, city, threshold. And the 3 variables, app key, city, threshold, out of which 2 is required, 1 is default. Now you look at the right side, the code which is being used to calling that module. You have passed the app key also, threshold also. That means if you do not pass, you will get the weather report for Munich, Germany. Okay, that's the one thing. Now if you see that line number 26 right side in the program, you are setting up the local variable because you want to use that parameter of the module, right? So you are setting up the local variable, city, threshold, app key, and temperature. Now 3 inputs, I set it up local variable. What is the temperature? Temperature value you get it from the function which is called get temperature, which is called in the line number 6. That's a function. That's a program you have to write it. But get a temperature, also required 2 input. So you have to provide app key and city name. And city name here you set it up by default, which is Munich D. That means app key you will provide through the module. If you are not providing the city name, by default it's a Munich, and it will go and hit the line number 6. Line number 6, they set the session. It's API request, API call. As per the city, they get, see the line number 11, they get that. Okay, get that queries based on the city and app. They get the output and stored in the response underscore content, which is line number 12. So they stored in this and return that function method in the response underscore content main and temp. So that's the return value. So that whatever the return value you have it's set in the temperature, which is line number 29. Now you got all the output. So here, based on the input, city, threshold, app key, you got a temperature of the city. Now you do the validation, whether the output which you got which is matching with the threshold or not. So if you get if your temperature which is more than threshold, you can say this is something very hot or something like that. Or if it is less than the threshold, this is something you response. So you look at the line number 32, exit JSON, which is a change true, and exit JSON again, line number 35, change false. So if it is a more than the threshold, the temperature is more than threshold, then you will say change true. Less than threshold, then change false. So guys, this is one simple program to do that. So main code which you have written here is between line number 6 to 14, and that's the real challenge which you have. Are you able to understand this?
Yeah.
Okay, so any module you see, you will be having an Ansible ACS server. You'll have to go to the directory where you see the module. All the modules is written in the same way. So now, and stuff like that. So let me show you the demo now directly demo. So this is a Rajesh Kumar mkdir module cd module. Okay, this is the location I am now. I will have sample programs which you can try also. Many examples you find it. You can try multiple examples, but I'll show you one examples which I'd explain it to you. So guys, look at my screen. The same module which I explained it to you, I am trying it. Here I will call the directory called library mkdir cd library. I will name this program, let's say VIWEATH weather.py.
Hoy también llega el aire
So weather.
el aire comprimido.
Yeah. So weather.py. So this is the program. Now I am going to write one playbook for it. So let's have the playbook. I think just a second. This is the playbook. I'm putting in the here. Look at this very simple playbook. This is the core module, and this is the test module. So my program name is, if I look at it, program name is weather. So module name is weather. Now parameter 2 is app key and threshold. So I'll give this app key and threshold 6 2. Now from where I got the app key? So if you go to that website of weather department, you can log in and you can get the threshold also. API also here. Open weathermap.org. Okay, so this is the API. I got it last time and I'm using. Now playbook. vi play.yaml and use this. Are you having any questions with this playbook? I'm running with a local host for time being.
No.
Save it. Ansible -playbook play and see here. I got returned weather changed. How come changed? Look at this here, the logic. If here there is a one changed here also, one changed here also. Look at this. So here I say, what is the weather? So I think I'm not returning that value. Okay, 4. So if the weather, whatever it has returned, if greater than threshold, change true. And if it is lesser than threshold, change false. Here also change has happened. So both the time, because it was the same weather, so both the time it got changed has happened. Let me call only one time, so that will avoid the confusion. For time being, I will comment it. And so I'm calling 2 and run it. So now it says weather task changed. That means change true means This is the one. So that means temperature is greater than threshold. That threshold I set to 2. Can I set here temperature 100, 200? And you see here weather change false, right? You see, so that means temperature, if it's true, run. That means if temperature is more than threshold, you are giving an instruction to run, decision run it is this, and this is you are returning. Okay, so here you are returning temperature, city, and stuff like that. I'm wondering why this is not returning. Exit JSON interface.
Shouldn't you need, I mean, that will be a variable call decision that you need to print with the book?
Yes. You said something? I sorry, I couldn't hear you clearly.
Yeah, I was saying that if that was going to be a variable setup name decision that you will need to print with debug in order to see it.
In the JSON, whatever you call it in the exit JSON here, basically I'm talking about here. Okay, so here you should get it, but format it's not coming actually. Just a second, let me check. So output should be like this. Output should be like this. You see that here in the left side and right side. Okay.
Yeah.
So that should be the output, but it's not getting the output.
You need to register the output, even if you're not using a variable, but you need to register that output.
Just a second.
And your playbook is missing.
Are we missing something? Let me imagine.
In your playbook, you're missing the register of the output, so it's not showing.
Okay, just a second. Let me check. I should say register test underscore module. So this is missing, correct? I did not notice. It should be equal to test underscore module register and it should be any variable output, simple output. Now yeah, so that should be dot decision. It should be dot decision, output dot decision, DECISION. Yeah, that's okay. So now let's try. Play one dot YAML spelling mistake. Says output let me try var because we are calling some terminal. and now I don't know what I passed. I passed 2. Okay, I passed 2, so it should show me is greater than threshold. So yes, this should show me, yeah, correct. So right now this is showing me this one, and change is equal to true, which is here. Did you understand this?
Yeah.
So guys, important code is in this whole program is this one. You could have called more function method, this, that, or no. So like this here, oh sorry, in this one, get temperature also, which is here. Okay, so this is the way you can call it and put it up which you wanted. Any questions, guys?
No.
Okay, now I'll show you how to develop module using shell scripting. Okay, sorry. Okay, so now I'll show you how to develop module using shell scripting. So for that, let's copy from last notes. This is the GitHub module. You can try it out to create a repository. Not required right now. This is again some call related activities. Let's try this. This is a code which I'm having. Now, last time it was Python module. Now I'll show you the shell module. Now the URL I must share with you, else I'll forget. Ansible module. Now this one. Yeah. So you have all the code here. You can check it out. Now let's use the Linux module. So here if you see Linux module, here you say this is the code. This is the Linux code. Now you see here you are trying to source $1. That means to this script which you have stored it with, whatever the parameter you provide, that's one parameter you are storing in the dollar. You are sourcing it $1. $1 is the one parameter, first parameter. $2 would be second parameter. $3 would be third parameter, like that. So here what you are doing, if state and $state present, then if you provide the present, then here if you provide this present, then basically present means if the state is equal to present, then if again one condition, touch file, simple, touch file. If the file is not exist, you see that not equal to -e $5, that means it will check that if the file is not exist, then touch file and say change echo true, that means change has happened, exit it. But if you want something else, not present, something else, then you say change false, exit 0, like this, finishing the fi. Here there is a one if condition, there is another if conditions here also. Now if you decide state is equal to not present but absent, then delete that file, something similar. Okay, so this is the code which you are writing. Now question is how to use this code. You see here, look at this, only one part of it. Here you see the touch is the name of the module, file is the one parameter where you are typing the input $1, something like this, and when you typing state is equal to absent or whatever it is, then it will delete. If you type present, it will create. That's all, very simple. So again, the logic you have to develop what exactly the requirement you wanted, depends on that you can do that. So for example, let's use this program. Go to library and vi touch.bash, copy this code. By the way guys, these are the very sample program. If you really want to see very good working program, look at the any module. Let me show you the documents, the place, Ansible hyphen version. You can go and refer any modules here in this directory. No, not this one, this location, inside this any directory, like let me show you. See here, all these are the categories of module which I have been using. I show you in the documentation on this. So you look at any module, they will also teach you lots of best practices. So that is the one way to look at it. So here touch.base I created, and I am going to use it play 3.yaml. Now I am going to use it only this one. Okay, only this one. So now here I say touch file me.txt and state I did not provide. That means it will take the default state which is present. So let's try this one first. So localhost, right? Yeah. See, change is equal to true, me.txt got created. Can I delete this? So for that you have to use this one. Done. Run it, and you see change is equal to true, deleted. So this is the way in a Linux also, in a bash scripting also. If you really want to create using the module using bash scripting, you can do that. Python is better than, I mean, you get lots of built-in functions which you can use, enjoy, but it's again your individual decisions. So guys, did you understand that how to create a module and how to use it? Okay, so now I'll give you, let's say 15 minutes, you to also try. You can use my app key, just you have to try, because just most of these are copy paste, and you just try same way and get going. So I'm updating my notes also. Okay, So all of you, please try. This is the most important topic actually. Once you get into the customization for your environment, this will help you. Yeah, again, you have to learn the Python. That is a good thing. You have to do that, get it up.
If you liked our Ansible session so far, please enroll for our channel membership $399 plan to get access of all the parts. Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@DevOpsSchool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.